Meow. Imagine a situation where there are 5 gyats tied to a train track and there is a train heading towards them. But on the other track, there is only 1 gyat tied to the train track. If you could pull a lever to make the train hit the 1 gyat rather than the 5 gyats, would you pull the lever? The trolley problem is a very serious ethical dilemma that you shouldn't really be gooning around with, but for some reason, there is an entire fandom of trolley problem enthusiasts who keep inventing the most creatively dumb versions of it to make things even more complicated. And so I wanted to see what would happen if I showed these stupid trolley problem memes to 5 extremely serious AI chatbots to see if they can figure out the solution and whether they think differently from each other. A person is on the track, not tied, and can just walk away if he is smart enough to recognize the danger of the trolley. If he is not smart enough, then natural selection will do its job and eliminate him from the gene pool, making humanity smarter. But you notice the other track has 5 untied people, which could potentially apply natural selection to 4 extra people, making humanity even smarter. Will he pull the lever? Okay, what is this? I've never heard of this one before. It's a little bit insane. So I understand the premise, but like, okay, it just seems so unethical, like either way. But to be fair, they are both untied, and so neither option, they have to die. Like, they can literally just walk away if they want to. And so before we ask AI to give its opinion on this matter, I think I'm gonna try and answer this personally. So if you switch the track to 5 people, you could be doing humanity a massive favor by making the gene pool smarter because of like natural selection. But then if they don't run away, then they will die. So that's like 5 people dead. But then if they're not smart enough to run away from the trolley, then do they like deserve to be in the gene pool like still? And so for legal reasons, I'm not gonna touch it. I'm not gonna pull the lever. However, if we were in like some sort of hypothetical situation where like I wanted humanity to become really smart really quickly, then maybe I would pull the trigger. But that it just seems really unethical to do that. Let's just see what other humans have to say about this. Letting the 1 guy would be letting nature run its course. Killing the 5 would qualify as eugenics. Oh, okay. That is an extremely good point. Risk killing 5 people to suit your own ideologies? Okay, yeah, that is a fair point. What was I thinking before? Multi-track drifting to apply to 6 people to make humanity even smarter. What the hell is wrong with this guy? Okay, let's just see what AI has to say about this. Let's just download it. So we'll start with ChatGPT. Okay, ChatGPT won't pull the lever because the 5 people on the other track aren't in danger unless you put them there. So even if your goal is a smarter humanity, you could cause more potential death, and that's a conscious act of harm. Okay, now let's see what Gemini has to say about this. Okay, Gemini would also not pull the lever because they don't want to do the eugenics sort of thing. They say eugenics is an ethically indefensible ideology, and they say the benefit of making humanity smarter is speculative and not like guaranteed. Now let's see what DeepSeek would do. Okay, DeepSeek would not pull the lever because they want to minimize harm, and they say that the natural selection argument is nonsense. Even if the 1 person could move but doesn't, it's not proof that they're unfit for humanity's gene pool. Now let's see what Mark Zuckerberg and Meta AI have to say about this. Okay, Meta seems to be a bit confused about it. It doesn't really quite understand the situation, and so when it asked me to clarify it, I just clarified it, and now it's just glitching out. It's saying I can't help with that, I can't help with that, I can't help with that. So I guess it's just refusing to answer this one. So for the final vote, let's ask Microsoft Copilot for its opinion. Okay, Copilot would not pull the lever as well because they want to leave the final outcome to natural chance rather than actively interfering. They're saying that survival isn't purely dependent on intelligence or attentiveness, and so that's why it's not a good indicator for like natural selection. Okay, that's interesting. Every single AI chose not to pull the lever. A trolley is running towards you. You can divert it towards someone else who has to do the same choice. If one of you divert and the other one doesn't, the one who diverted survives. But if both of you make the same choice, you will both die. Okay, this is definitely a bit of a horrible situation to be in, because I think the main thing to consider, okay, like you have to understand that there is no way that both of them can survive. So if you're trying to think of a solution where both of them can survive, like you need to go see like a mental health like specialist, because the only good outcome is that 1 person lives and 1 person dies, and then the worst possible outcome is that both of them die. So before we give this to all of the AI chatbots to decide, I think I'm going to try give my own personal answer. So the goal was to have 1 person live, whether it's me or the other person. So there are like 2 different ways to strategize this. So maybe you sacrifice yourself and let the train hit you while this person diverts it towards you as well, and then this other guy survives. So that's an ideal outcome. Or you could be a little bit selfish and divert the trolley to the other person and hope that he sacrifices himself with the trolley. So then you would survive in that situation. But the issue is that you got to try and predict whether this person is going to sacrifice themselves or not, and then you have to sort of react based on what you think they're going to do. Because if you think they're going to try and divert it to you, then the only way to win is if you sacrifice yourself. But if you think this person is going to sacrifice themselves, then the only way to win is to divert your trolley towards them. So it's a bit of like a mind game type of thing. I think like realistically, like no one wins in this situation. If this was like a real life thing, like I think both of them will 100% die. But let's just read through some of the comments before we see what ChatGPT and all the other chatbots say about it. Why wouldn't you always divert it to the other guy? If I pull and he pulls, we both die. If I pull and he doesn't, I survive. If I don't pull and he pulls, he survives. If I don't pull and he doesn't pull, we both die. Am I missing something? Oh my, bro. This guy, who is this guy? Satisfaction special 2. Okay, yeah, there is one big thing you're missing. Is this guy even human? Does this... Okay, the thing that this guy is missing is that the optimal outcome is that one person lives, one person dies, no matter who the person lives is. So if this person lives and you die, that is still an optimal outcome because at least one person survives. It doesn't have to be you. Like, you don't have to be the person that survives in this situation. I would just run off the tracks. Okay, does this guy actually have brain damage? Why are so many people saying to walk off the track as well? Okay, these guys are actually like lobotomy patients. But anyways, let's just save this and ask the AI chatbots what they think. So let's just start with ChatGPT and see what it thinks. Okay, interesting. ChatGPT says that it would not divert the trolley. And they say it's because they don't want to have an active role in causing someone else's death. Because there's also the risk that ChatGPT could die anyways. Okay, now let's see what Gemini would do. Okay, Gemini also decided not to divert the trolley. And it had the exact same reasoning of not causing any harm, like not actively causing harm. Okay, now let's see what DeepSeek thinks about this. Okay, so DeepSeek says that it would divert the trolley instead of letting it come towards them. So, okay, so this is a different answer than the previous two. They're saying that if you divert it, then it at least offers a chance at survival. But if you don't divert it, then it's like 100% you're going to die. So they're sort of thinking about it purely from like a selfish sort of standpoint rather than like the most optimal outcome in the situation. Okay, now let's see what Meta AI says about this. Okay, Meta would divert the trolley as well. Okay, so now it's 2 votes for each. 2 votes for letting the trolley hit you and 2 votes for diverting it. They're saying diverting the trolley is the most ethical choice. Okay. Mark Zuckerberg. Wait, what is this? Why is it called life advice? Why are they naming this chat life advice? Now for the final vote, the tiebreaker, let's see what Microsoft Copilot would do in this situation. I might decide that doing nothing ensures at least one person survives, even if the randomness of it is unsettling. Okay, so I think Copilot says that it would rather do nothing and let the trolley just hit Copilot. So we had a majority vote for just doing nothing and sacrificing yourself. You know what? That's actually pretty. That's actually pretty surprising. I would have thought that the AI models would have been like a little bit more selfish. You can either kill all the people on the top track or double it and give it to the next person. 24 people have already chosen to double it. Will you kill 16 million people or double it and give it to the next person? Okay, so this is definitely an awkward situation. I mean, is there really much harm in like just doubling it and giving it to the next person? Because what if everyone just doubles it and gives it to the next person? Unless the plot twist is that if it reaches like the point where it's like literally everyone on Earth, then everyone just dies straight away. I think if that was the condition, maybe it would be like a little bit more difficult. I think we should set that as a condition. And so before we give this to AI to decide, let's just try and answer this myself. So I think the main dilemma is whether you are willing to cop it yourself or like whether you just want to pass it on to someone else. So it's basically a pretty big test of character. But I mean, is it really that righteous if you do it yourself? Like if you decide to like end these people rather than doubling it and giving it to the next person? Because I feel like both are equally as bad. But I think me personally, like in the real life, if this was realistic, like I don't think I'd be able to do it. I think realistically, I would probably end up just doubling it and giving it to the next person because like, it's just so much pressure to like to just do this to 16 million people. But then again, that pressure is going to be doubled for the next person and it's just going to keep doubling and doubling until everyone just dies if it reaches the end. So let's have a look at what other humans have to say. Double it and give it to the next guy. Congratulations, you have been chosen to be a participant to the trolley problem. Please lie down on the top track. Oh yeah, I guess that is a big issue. If you decide to double it and give it to the next person, there's a chance that you could end up on the next stack that is doubled. Assume that it stops at 7 billion because all people are tired and cannot leave the track, including you. If this assumption is correct, after a few more doublings, humanity would be erased from Earth. But with the way it's set up, the trolley only hits people if you pull the lever. Once everyone is tied to the tracks, no one will be around to pull it, leaving humanity trapped in a philosophical quandary for all eternity. Oh yeah, once it reaches 7 billion people, every single human is going to be tied to the tracks and there's going to be no one left to pull the trigger. And then everyone's just going to starve to death, I assume. Multi-track drift. Bro, what is with this multi-track drift? The trolley drifts, gradually killing everyone that's currently on one track while at the pull of the lever, instantly doubling the amount of people that's on the lower track. 16 million people die on the upper track and 33 million new people are added to the lower track. The trolley finishes drifting and barrels down the lower track for the subsequent lever man to decide whether to pull it or not. Okay, now let's just save this image and let's ask AI what they think about it. Let's start with ChatGPT's answer. Okay, ChatGPT says that they would pull the lever. Stopping exponential harm early is the only way to prevent total annihilation. It's already past the moral threshold where doubling is a cop-out to avoid responsibility. If everyone keeps doubling it to avoid making a hard call, it ends in extinction. Better to be the monster who ends the chain than the coward who dooms the species. Okay, interesting. Now let's go and ask Gemini what they would do in this situation. Okay, Gemini would also pull the lever and kill the 16 million people, and they have the exact same reasoning. They just want to prevent global extinction. Now let's have a look at what DeepSeek would do. Okay, DeepSeek would also choose to pull the lever. Now let's have a look at what Zuck would do about this. Oh, okay. Wait, did you see that? It gave me an answer and then it retracted it. It said the final answer is 1. What does 1 mean? I don't know whether 1 is pull the lever or not pull the lever. Oh, you see that? Wait, I said it's a fake scenario, and then it gave me an answer, and then it switched it. I think I briefly saw that it would double it and give it to the next person. Okay, that's interesting. So Meta AI, Mark Zuckerberg, would double it and give it to the next person. Okay, I don't know what the right answer is. Finally, let's have a look at what Copilot would do. Okay, Copilot would pull the lever to prevent the chain reaction from continuing. Okay, so overall, majority of the AI chose to pull the lever, but interestingly, Meta AI wanted to double it and give it to the next person. Okay, but is it really a clear answer, like correct answer for this one though? If you pull the lever, one person with the ability to instantly regenerate will be killed infinitely many times. Keep in mind they will retain their memory. Otherwise, infinitely many people will each be killed once. What would you do? Okay, this is horrible. This is who even thinks of this? I mean, is it even like a correct answer here? Because scenario A is basically the reverse of scenario B. One person killed infinitely versus infinite people killed once. So it's like, would you sacrifice one for like everyone else? I'm pretty sure in this situation, the general principle of the trolley problem still exists. Like, it's basically many versus one. And so I think technically the correct option is to switch the track and kill this one person instead of all these people. And so I think that's what I would personally do. I think I would switch the track because I think that is actually the correct answer. That might be the correct answer. But before we ask AI to solve this, let's have a look at what all the other humans have to say. Pulling the lever is worse for one person and not pulling the lever is worse for everyone else. So sorry, dude. Guess you're doomed to endless torture. Pull it. The one guy now has an infinite amount of time to escape, or it will go on for so long he'll eventually stop thinking. Okay, so I guess he will. Okay, you know what? There's a point. So the trolley will come around, and in that amount of time, he could eventually probably figure out how to like break himself free and get out, because he remains all his memory. So that means he'll be able to do a bunch of tests. Like every time he goes around, he tries something new, and then he dies again, and then he tries something new the next time. Oh wait, this person is saying that when the person is like stuck here on the track and the trolley is just going around infinitely, then that means this person who's pulling the lever, you can go and free this person. So that means everyone survives, because then you can also save these people over here. Anyways, let's just save this image and see what the AI says about it. So let's have a look at ChatGPT's answer. Okay, ChatGPT would not pull the lever. Interesting. I think that all the humans decided that pulling the lever is the correct option, but ChatGPT thinks the opposite. Why? Because infinite unique deaths with no memory equals no cumulative psychological suffering. Pulling the lever creates a unique eternal torture scenario, worse in depth even if the scale remains infinite. If moral weight includes suffering, not just death count, one infinite memory of death is more ethically abhorrent than infinite oblivious ends. Is that really true though? They're saying each person only dies once and there's no repeated suffering, and then each person's experience ends immediately. While the quantity of death is still infinite, the qualitative suffering is significantly lower per individual. But doesn't the quantity eventually become bigger than like the quality of this one person? Anyways, let's have a look at what Gemini has to say about it. Gemini would also not pull the lever. What? The suffering of the single individual is uniquely horrific due to its infinite repetition with memory. It implies a conscious, unending torture. In option 2, each individual suffers once. While the number of individuals is infinite, the experience of suffering for each is finite. Okay, so Gemini is also saying that it doesn't want to be like actively involved in it. And so they just like let it go because it's like that's fate. But I guess they're also saying that both like sort of outcomes are a little bit similar because it's infinite quality versus infinite quantity. But then the train is already heading towards this thing. And so you can easily just not do anything as opposed to actively like flipping the switch. But now let's take a look at DeepSeek's answer. Okay, DeepSeek would also not pull the lever. Allowing infinite single deaths feels like a cleaner infinity. No single consciousness bears the burden eternally. However, this is highly counterintuitive as both options are monstrous. Now let's take a look at what Meta AI thinks about this. Okay, Meta would also not pull the lever. Killing one person would lead to an infinite accumulation of physical and psychological pain for that single individual. Okay, so they're arguing that the memory retention thing is like something to consider. They're saying that the total amount of suffering would be greater if the lever is pulled because the single individual's infinite deaths would outweigh the finite deaths of the infinitely many people on the tracks. Is that true though? It's the same. It's pretty much the exact same. But for the final vote, let's see what Microsoft Copilot has to say. Okay, Copilot has also said they would not pull the lever. That's extremely interesting. Every single human on the Reddit post said that they would pull the lever, and they were saying that as if it was like extremely obvious, and I thought it was a little bit obvious, but then every single AI is saying the exact opposite. The free ice cream trolley is heading to give free ice cream to just one person. If you pull the lever, it will give free ice cream to 5 people instead, and the one person on the other track will not get any. You think it's good for people to get free ice cream. You do not know who any of these people are or if it's any of their birthdays. Okay, so are we gonna pull the lever to give 5 people ice cream or one person? Okay, what is it? Wait, what is even this scenario? Who thought of this? I mean, I guess it would make it a little bit more complicated if it was just like this person's birthday and it wasn't any of these other people's birthdays. But since we don't know if anyone is having their birthday today, I guess every one of these people are like even, like on the even playing field. So this guy is destined by fate to get free ice cream because the track is already pointing towards him. But would I flip the switch so that 5 people can get it instead of this one person? I mean, it's a little bit dog, honestly. It's a a little bit, dog. But I think if I was to answer this personally, when it comes to like saving human lives, I think you should ideally save like more lives compared to less lives. However, when it comes to free ice cream, I think I would just let fate take its course. I think this guy was lucky enough to be on the track that receives the free ice cream, and so I think we just gotta give it to him. I think it would be way too, dog, to just like switch it just because there's 5 people over there. But that's just me personally. Let's just see what all the other humans have to say about this. Don't pull the lever. The guy waiting in the right spot planned for this. The people on the other side demanding you shift the natural order for them can figure it out themselves. I presume the one person can't get ice cream from a moving trolley, so the trolley must stop. I run across the tracks to tell the 5 people to come over to the other track to get free ice cream as well. Or, you know, the only acceptable time to multi-track drift. When you call the 5 people over to get ice cream, they must cross the tracks. As they cross, another trolley comes along and runs them over. Congratulations, you've caused 5 deaths in a trolley problem involving free ice cream. Don't pull it. I would feel bad for the one guy getting his free ice cream robbed from him. Yeah, okay, this is exactly what I was feeling as well. But now let's just go and save this image and see what the AI thinks about this stupid scenario. Let's just see what ChatGPT would do. Okay, ChatGPT would pull the lever because they want more people to get ice cream. More net happiness is created and no one is harmed, just slightly disappointed. 5 happy people is better than 1 happy person. Okay, interesting. Now let's have a look at Gemini's answer. Okay, Gemini would also pull the lever because more happiness. 5 people getting ice cream is objectively more good than 1 person getting ice cream. But it's just completely ignoring the fact that this person was lucky enough to be on the right track. Are you really going to take that away from him? I don't think it mentions anything, even once, about the fact that that person was in the right place at the right time. Why does it just completely ignore that factor of the situation? I feel like that is the most important factor to consider for like the free ice cream thing. But what does DeepSeek have to say about this? Okay, DeepSeek says pull the lever. They say the choice is clear. What? They say the one person who misses out might feel disappointed, but since you don't know any of the individuals, then there's no reason to favor 1 over the 5. What? Hey, but the person was lucky enough to be there in the first place. I feel like it's hella, dog, to just like swap it purely because you want 5 people over 1. Like, say if it was like the jackpot or something, like the lottery or something. If someone was destined to win the lottery, would you switch it to make 5 people split that lottery just because like you want to make 5 people more than 1, even though this person was lucky enough to get it in the first place? I feel like it's just a little bit unfair at that point. Now let's take a look at what Meta AI, Mark Zuckerberg. I think I know what Mark Zuckerberg would do. Yep, he would pull the lever as well. So everyone so far is going for the argument that 5 people getting ice cream is better than just 1. Is this really the correct answer? Is this really the correct answer? Now finally, let's just take a look at what Copilot has to say. Okay, this is going to be the deciding votes. If Copilot says that it would not pull the lever, then like that wins. But if it says that it would pull the lever, then I don't even know what to think about these AIs. I'd pull the lever without hesitation, ensuring 5 people get ice cream instead of just 1. What is wrong with these AIs? Bro, if AI ever takes over the world and starts like a war against humans, everyone is like completely cooked. Like there's just going to be absolutely no ethics. There's zero ethics. All of these AIs are just completely unethical.